Yeah, man, that's the work. That's the voice of Burner, who owns the most successful cannabis brand of our generation, Cookies. And Burner is from the Bay Area. First time I met him was in Clear Lake, California.
Fishing?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I just threw that out there.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Every summer I would take the family, me and the family would go get a house out there and celebrate, sit on the lake, and act a fool and have a really good time. And one of the casinos out there, I was, ripping their necks off at the poker table. And Burner came up to me and said, "Hey, man, oh, shit, Sway? Yeah, man, what's up, man? I'm Burner, man." I didn't know who he was at that time. I was like, "Man, good to meet you." He's like, "I'm from the Bay, man, and, man, I rap." I was like, "All right, okay. Can I give you some music?" So he ran to his car and gave me about 3 or 4 CDs of his music. I said, "Man, are you good?" He was like, "Man, I like, I've been doing it for a while, man. I like what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah." And he, I didn't even know about the Cookies brand at that time. I knew him as an artist, but he had the Cookies brand at that time. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was really interesting when I would see him and go, "Man, that ain't even how he presented himself. That was wise." Mm-hmm. That clip, citizens, if you want to learn more about Bay Area and its history and its artistry and some of the just legendary moments that are very seldom told. When you even think of my story and King Tech's story, y'all don't know it. The world don't know it. You know what I mean? Because people don't talk about it. And when we see our peers talking about history and moments and this culture that took place, they tend to skip over Bay Area for some reason.
No, it's a reason.
What's the reason?
So here's what I've learned. And I've learned it, and I don't think anymore it's an accident. So we've been doing this show 11 years now.
Right.
And most recently, we've been blessed to sit down with Mount Westmore for a special behind-the-scenes look and conversation. And Short was there. Cube was there. E40 was there. And just having her here today, what I'm constantly hearing is that people take a lot from the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. Like a lot. And they hardly ever acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think when you take from people and you don't acknowledge it, that's a crime in itself.
Yep.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. But they get embarrassed later on because you constantly hear people say that started in the Bay. Mm-hmm. The only person I've ever heard give full acknowledgement to the Bay Area is Master P. Real talk.
Give that man
that's
a round
not
of
from
applause.
the Bay.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the only person, Rab, that came up here and actually said, "I learned from the Bay Area." And Snoop said, "I learned from Master P, who learned from the Bay Area." Everybody else be taken and not wanting to give acknowledgement.
And Master P will tell you that his pivotal person in the Bay Area that he learned a lot from was E.A. Ski.
Okay, I can't speak to that part.
I love what you just did.
I gotta
I
stop
love what
with,
you did.
I'm mad. I can't take credit for that part. I heard what he said to me.
Yeah, because Ski used to live off of Fleming.
Okay.
Over there off 55th. Mm-hmm. And P used to wait at his house till he came home. On his stairs. P know his whole family. Salute to P. It does get it used to frustrate me because I got a lot of peers in journalism, hip-hop journalism, broadcast journalism, that I'll see speaking on history and even the history of what we do, and they purposely won't mention Sway and Tech in their stories when our story helped to illuminate so much in the culture and elevate it to a level that it wasn't at, that they were inspired by. And so when I see it, it used to frustrate me. Now it doesn't weigh on me at all. In fact, I almost feel sympathetic towards them, because I celebrate everybody. I don't care who you are. Like, if you come through this game, I'm going to put a spotlight on you, even if I don't like you.
That's you.
You've seen me do it. We've had people on the show that I'm not that aligned with because of that. But they deserve their story to be told. And I think that's what's important, y'all. Stop telling the half-truths so you could get some type of metrics or some viral moment to make yourself feel good.
Right. And give credit to people. Right. Like, give credit.
Because the story can't just be about you.
It can't be about you. So salute to Rob Markman. Give Rob Markman a round of applause.
Yes.
I talk back.
Give Daytwan Thomas a round of applause.
I love Daytwan.
Me too.
What up, Daytwan?
You know,
up, Day?
I can say for a fact, and I say these names because there's somebody from the Bay who is walking in a tradition of excellence when it comes to this journalism because he cares. I know it. His conversation gets annoying at times, Heather, because he wants to get to the minute detail of what happened in history. Remember that one line so-and-so said in this song? He's been like this for decades that we've hung out. And I remember saying to him, do everything you want to be done yourself. Do it yourself. Don't rely on anybody. Don't count on anybody.
That sounds familiar.
Do it yourself. You know, because, and I'm going to be there to support all the way through. But once I can see that a person is taking initiative to grab what it is that they want, that makes me more inspired to support what it is that they're trying to do.
That's right.
He started off as an MC. He was rhyming and rapping, you know, and him and my cousin Clee were getting, what was it, half a Grammy label imprint off the ground.
What up, cousin Clee?
And but he has something bigger and more. He has something to say, but he needed another platform to say it on. And sometimes you can't say it all in a song. And he created this platform called No Vultures out of Northern California. And you see everybody in Northern California, specifically the Bay Area, that have been coming down to support it because he knows their truth. He's invested in their story for the broader picture of what's been done in the Bay Area. Mr. FAB, SIBO, Numbskull, they all come down to speak with this man because of his pedigree.
Yes.
And so this is, I will all be all transparent. This is family. This is my cousin.
Love it.
Okay, and I watch him. I'm a little hard on him, probably. He can handle it.
All right.
welcome him to the show. The one and only Lord Rab from No Vultures.
Let's go. We up.
Rab.
Yo.
How long has No Vultures been in existence?
Man, like almost 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
What was the moment you decided, and why did you decide, I just got to create my own platform?
Honestly, partly because of what you told me.
What did I say to you?
I asked you about it. So I asked you, I'm like, man, you know, this rapping is cool, but, you know, the game is a little fickle for me, and I'm on the more side of like too cool to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you said to me one day, I said, man, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. And I was like, what you think? You said, do it. That was it. You said you got a camera, right? I've been seeing you do camera work. I know what your pedigree is on this hip hop. So why you ain't doing it? And that stuck with me more than anything anybody ever told me. Why you ain't doing it? Because I didn't have an excuse.
And what's the first thing you did after that? How did you build it?
The first thing I did was jump on YouTube. I'm YouTube University alumni. So everything on that platform, I mean, as far as tutorials, everything that I did was off a tutorial. So from learning how to hook up a mic to control a soundboard to even the conducting the interviews I kind of had because of my studying, you know, watching you and others and just my love for the game. But, man, the first thing I did was got on YouTube and bought equipment. And from there, I fired it up.
And what was your first episode? What made you choose it as your first episode, and how did it go?
So, of course, I do a guest-based. So, podcasts are cool, but, like, if I was ranting, it'd be crazy. I probably would be the most viral. But, but I wanted to tell people stories. So, I chose Koran Streets. He's a guy from Berkeley, and he's actually, you guys remember the group The Pack that Too Short had? Got my Vans on. With
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Tell him who came out of the pack.
Yeah. Who came out? A little bass guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest that everybody gonna know, Lil B.
Lil B,
And so these were his folks. But he was also in the movie. As a rapper, that's not what made me interview him. He's an actor. And so they did a movie called Licks.
Yep.
Super dope movie. And that was the only movie that I saw tell a real Oakland story without it being kind of corny.
Got it.
And so his story was so deep because he's burnt. So he got burned when he was young. He had dreads and the locks, and the doctor told his mom the only way to get rid of these lice is to burn it. And so and shout out to his mom. His mom is called Word Slinger. She's a poet from Oakland, very very deep. But she put the kerosene in his hair, and when she didn't know she had the stove on or something like that, and when she lit the kerosene out his hair, it just was an explosion. And so he was just burned. He said as he was walking out the house, his skin was melting. And so just his confidence, when I see him, like he running down on any lady, like he, this is a guy that's been burned, so he doesn't let that get him. I just thought he was very interested, and he's a thespian. He's a hell of an actor. He actually did all of August Wilson's screenplays in chronological order. He's the only person in history that ever did that.
Wow.
So,
really?
Wow.
Yeah. I remember meeting him here.
Yeah, when he came up,
we interviewed
him right here.
Yeah.
We interviewed him on the show, and that was your first episode.
That was the first one.
See, I think you shouldn't be ranting. I like the fact that you're not ranting, and to me, I think that some of the most successful podcasts or shows or whatever people call them, and the ones that's going to have longevity, are the ones that the hosts are actually passionate about what they're talking about. And I think that always gives you a bonus and a foundation. Like, you're passionate about the Bay Area, you're passionate about these stories. And I think the authenticity shows in that, and that's what I would tell people. Yeah, okay, so you learned a lot on YouTube, but you can't learn passion on YouTube.
No, you can't.
So you started with the passion of it, and I think that you develop in the other stuff, the technical stuff. Yeah, you learn that, but to me, it started with your passion.
Absolutely.
So congratulations for following your passion and being and wanting to enhance it more. You know what I mean? I think that's dope, Rap.
And I can sense that your passion is also what led to this title. Like, I want to unpack that with No Vultures, because obviously it makes us think of culture vultures.
Absolutely.
Those who are cultural appropriators, those who, do not have pure intentions when it comes to this game. How long did it take you? Was that the first name that came to mind?
That is the first name that came to mind.
Amen.
And I was thinking of names, but nothing was coming up. Like, I literally was drawing a blank. Like, because I'm really particular about that. Like, in the Bay Area, we got a term called Bootsy. Nobody wants to be Bootsy. Like, Bootsy is like a clown, but it's just so much deeper than that. You know what I mean? It's just corny, a
not
side
to be confused
buster.
with Bootsy, though.
Yeah, somebody that's stunting all the time for no reason. It's just Bootsy. So we call it. So I didn't want to be Bootsy. Okay. So I was like, I can't just name my show anything. And so Dame Dash popped in my head. And one of his rants when he talked about culture vultures, and I think because of his business with Jay-Z and people like that and their disagreements or, separation, people tend to not take people serious if the more popular person is not rocking with them no more. But I can take something from anybody. And so when he talks about these culture vultures, he's basically just talking about David fighting Goliath and us telling our story. Like, we don't necessarily need people. We can empower each other. We can start, our own thing. Of course, he had the answers. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that people tell you could do these things and you got to just try it. So, but that's basically where No Vultures came from.
Word.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm gonna throw some names out, and then you just give me a quick take on who they are and the impact they made.
I like that.
On the Bay Area.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with, and some of these names you may not know the artists. Okay. Let's start with Sebo.
Okay, with Sebo, Sebo was the Northern California version of Ice Cube. His career was stunted by prison stints and street things that he had going on. But Sebo would be basically what the difference between the Bay and LA is, right? Even though he's from Sacramento, it's considered Northern California, same thing. But he is basically the difference between LA and the Bay because of the people he probably was able to deal with in the music business, the people that could guide him in the right ways to the music business. I don't think he had that. And so you talking about somebody that pressed up 1 million copies and gave them away. So I didn't know how I heard this dude when I first heard him, but he was in the streets. I'm like, no, nobody just comes out and buzzing like that. But once he said they pressed up 1 million copies and gave them away.
And about what year is this?
1991.
Wow.
1990.
Yeah,
You gotta love it.
So this guy is the guy you hear on Trading War Stories with Tupac. When you hear "We Ain't Hard to Find," and then there's this
Birds
dude
in the
coming
kitchen.
in so hard, you know, because everybody heard Pac album, right? And so when you hear him come on these verses, you like, if you're not familiar with him, like, who is this dude? You know, and so that's who Sebo is. But he was like the Northern California Ice Cube.
Nice.
Okay, the Delinquents.
The Delinquents.
Wow.
The epitome of independence. In Oakland or the Bay Area, we got this thing called the D-Boy contract. Everybody had to have it, right? So everybody in the town, everybody in San Francisco, Richmond, had a D-Boy contract, which means there's a guy that sells drugs in the neighborhood that's going to sponsor your career.
Oh.
Right?
The D-Boy contract.
Noted.
And so the Delinquents were their own D-Boys. You know what I'm saying? So they had money and was able to put themselves out. And they later on signed the Priority, and, you know, Master P attempted to sign them, but they were so strong on their independence. Shout out Vidal and Glenn, man. Great dudes. Great dudes.
All right, Mac Mall.
Mac Mall, man. Mac Mall's a guy that early on I thought he would be nationwide. Just from the beginning. He had every quality it took. He was tall, the girls liked him. He knew how to make girl songs and gangster songs. You know, he was affiliated with Mac Dre and the Romper Room Gang. And Mac Mall is an MC. So, you know, sometimes we separate the street rappers and the street guys versus MCs. He's all of that. So we don't, you know, Mac Mall's a rapper. Like, he's a real rapper, and I respect Mac Mall. I love Mac Mall.
He still raps today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
still rap.
He's
All right,
incredible. RBL Posse.
Wow. Shout out to RBL Posse and shout out Black C. He just wrote a book, actually. I was reading it on the plane. I'm supposed to interview him again. One of the most deepest stories in hip hop ever. We talking about San Francisco gang wars, but this war in Hunters Point in particular started in the same house.
What?
So you had this guy Booby and you have Black C, right, which is Chris, and their family. But at some point, neighborhood shit got involved, and it was really bad like that.
Wow.
And so you got Black C who survived, but his group members both were killed. And then you got Booby who's just getting out of federal prison for a gang indictment, basically. And now them guys, I think, actually might be picking up the pieces because their neighborhood, that beef lingered on. So the young people killing each other and they don't know why.
They don't even know why.
No.
The history.
Stay on blue. I'm just trying to stay racked up like you.
Put an 8 in a 1 and do magic. Tryna stretch hair on like elastic. Eco-friendly drug dealer, I don't waste no plastic. Use all 4 corners of that baggie. All I ever wanted was a bankroll. So I pull up on Champ before the bank close. Say no to stank hoes and stank clothes. No paramedic pimpin', nigga, we don't save hoes. Yeah, rest in peace to Lil'